Right now, Democratic lawmakers are working on reinstating a 48-hour waiting period for gun buyers as one family marks the 6th anniversary to losing their loved one to gun violence.
Also, 4 teens are shot outside of a high school basketball game in Milwaukee. The latest on their conditions and the search for a suspect. And 3,000 U.S. troops are being deployed to Eastern Europe as tensions continue to rise between Ukraine and Russia. You're watching News 3 now at 5. Democratic lawmakers are introducing legislation that would reinstate a 48-hour cooling period for gun buyers. 6 years ago, Governor Scott Walker repealed the law that required dealers to not sell firearms until after a 48-hour background check was completed. Now, Senator Melissa Agard is reintroducing the measure, saying that everyone should have the freedom to live, work, and play without violence.
It's about prioritizing lives over political talking points and personal inconveniences. Safety and security must continue to be our focus.
Agard emphasized today that we can avoid senseless acts of violence by choosing a safer path for Wisconsin. Today marks a day of grief and a day of action for one Madison family. It's been 6 years since 24-year-old Carolyn Nozel was murdered by a former co-worker outside of Cottage Grove's Metro Market. And now, as McKenna Alexander explains, her parents are turning pain into progress.
In the Nozel household, Caroline isn't an annual murder statistic or a breaking news segment. No, to Jim and Jane Nozel, Caroline is the daughter who would save animals from the side of the road or dumpster dive behind her high school, all so she could save a bit of literature.
She pulls in to the driveway and she says, "Can you help me unload the books?" Well, there was barely enough room for her to fit into the driver's seat. We emptied these books all over our living room. And then she looks at me and she said, "Well, I only think there'll be one more load." Her response was, "Chris, I'm really terrified now." And then that's supposedly the last thing she ever said. If waiting 2 days to get a firearm would save someone's life.
Wisconsin's 48-hour waiting period, repealed less than a year before Caroline's murder, required firearms dealers not to sell a handgun until 2 days after the Wisconsin DOJ completed a background check. Nozel says his daughter's killer was troubled and believes that 48-hour hold could have saved Caroline's life.
Maybe this young man whose own actions had caused him to lose his job, maybe have thought about it a little bit more. Maybe he would have he was still in contact with, people at the store. Maybe, somebody would have talked to him or realized it was a problem or he was having a problem and maybe gotten him some help.
Caroline's parents now working toward prevention over prosecution, hopeful that no family has to endure the pain they've felt.
We just want to work on this one little piece that I don't see really as taking away anybody's rights. It's asking them to be patient. There are real people behind all these things. And the costs for the families are huge. We don't get our loved ones back.
News 3 Now has reached out to the lawmakers who wrote the 48-hour law repeal. As of now, we have not heard back from them for comment. Let's get a look now at your certified most accurate forecast. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti is on the weather patio. Gary?
It is a cold day today across southern Wisconsin. The temperature is a lot colder than they were at this time yesterday. As we check out visible cloud track, we've had a lot of cloud cover. Every once in a while, maybe a tiny peak of sun, but there also have been just a couple of flurries, mainly over southeastern Wisconsin, south and east of Madison, and that might still be the case yet tonight as a major winter storm passes to our south. But right now, most of southern Wisconsin is just cloudy and dry. Low temperatures this morning dropped to the single digits above zero to the lower teens, and temperatures only went up a couple of degrees from there. That high of 20 in Madison is actually at midnight. We've only been in the lower to middle teens this afternoon and north and west of town. Those are about our highs for the day. Current temperatures are now right around 10 degrees around the Dells and in the mid to low teens across the rest of southern Wisconsin, while wind chills are around zero, and both the temperatures and wind chills will drop off. Look for a low of about 4 above zero by tomorrow morning, but wind chills Hills could be as cold as 15 below zero. Tomorrow we'll see more sunshine, but it still will be very cold with a high temperature of 13. Later on, I'll take a look at that winter storm down to the south and its effects on our weather in just a few minutes.
All right, Gary, thank you. A 65-year-old woman who suffered serious injuries following a hit-and-run crash on Madison's east side over the weekend died on Monday. The crash happened Saturday on Milwaukee Street at North Stoughton Road. After the crash, the suspect reportedly ran from the scene to a nearby home. He eventually turned himself in. He was arrested on a number of tentative charges. 5 people, including 4 teens, are recovering after a shooting outside of a high school basketball game in Milwaukee. Police say the 4 teenage girls and a woman were shot last night in connection with a dispute on social media. It happened outside of Rufus King High School around 7:30 Tuesday. The 5 were leaving the game when a fight ensued. Investigators say an adult male suspect then fired multiple shots at the group. The city's police chief says this type of violence is unacceptable.
We want to be safe. We don't want to just get into the fray and now put yourself into harm. But to have adults respond to a situation like this and use that level of violence is unacceptable. Unacceptable on all levels.
Milwaukee police continue to search for a known male suspect.
SSM Health visited a Middleton retirement home today to help some who are the most susceptible to COVID get their booster shots. A representative from the Jefferson retirement community said it was very helpful for SSM to come to them, as very few residents there can drive.
Very important that they are vaccinated for them to be able to live the lifestyle that we try to provide here for them in a social community.
Hoskin also says it's challenging at times to keep up with the COVID protocols, but they'll continue to follow them to ensure their community is safe. Today, the Army announced any soldier who refuses a COVID vaccination will be fired. Army Secretary Christine Wormuth issued a statement saying, quote, unvaccinated soldiers present risk to the force and jeopardize readiness. She says involuntary separation proceedings will begin for any unvaccinated soldier who does not have an approved exemption or a pending request. The policy also applies to active duty reservists.
Governor Evers continues to hand out grants to bolster local tourist enterprises. Today, he presented $2.5 million to Discover Green Bay. It plans to use the money for a long-awaited visitor center project. The grants come from the Badger Bounce Back Plan. We're learning more information tonight about Tuesday's shooting at a Minnesota school. Richfield police arrested 2 suspects and recovered a handgun they believe was used in the incident. A 15-year-old was killed in the shooting. A 17-year-old remains in critical condition. Investigators also say there was a 3rd victim in the shooting, but the severity of that person's injuries are unknown.
The 5 students did know each other. An altercation, possibly related to a previous dispute, took place, occurred between the 5 students near the front entrance of the high school.
Investigators say an altercation took place before the shooting that they believe was related, as the chief just said there, to a previous dispute.
Thousands of officers lined the streets in New York City to honor one of their fallen brothers. Detective Wilbert Mora was shot while responding to a domestic violence call last month. His partner, Jason Rivera, was also killed. Among those who spoke at Mora's funeral, New York Mayor Eric Adams, himself a former officer. He vowed to give the city the resources needed to fight violent crime.
It is New Yorkers against the killers, and we will not lose. We will protect our city. We will work to end the gun violence that has engulfed our city with pain and despair, and protect those who put their lives on the line every day.
Officers Mora and Rivera were both posthumously promoted to detective.
The U.S. is deploying 3,000 troops to Eastern Europe, despite the Biden administration saying that a Russian invasion into Ukraine is no longer imminent. Karen Kafa has the details.
Amid rising tensions between Russia and the West, President Joe Biden formally approving the deployment of 3,000 U.S. troops to Eastern Europe in the coming days.
This force is designed to deter aggression and enhance our defensive capabilities in frontline allied states.
The additional forces are separate from the 8,500 U.S. personnel placed on heightened alert last week and include 1,000 troops currently based in Germany, repositioning to Romania, with another 2,000 troops deploying to Poland and Germany from the U.S.
These are not permanent moves. They are moves designed to respond to the current security environment. Moreover, these forces are not going to fight in Ukraine. They're going to ensure the robust defense of our NATO allies.
The decision comes as diplomatic talks with Moscow are proving ineffective, with Russia continuing to build up forces along the Ukrainian border and issuing security demands to NATO allies.
It's important that we send a strong signal to Mr. Putin and, frankly, to the world that NATO matters to the United States.
Ukraine's foreign minister expressing appreciation for the added support Wednesday and warning of what he believes are Russia's motivations.
Russia aims to shatter the long-established order in Europe and the Euro-Atlantic area, undermine its core principles, and destroy the post-Cold War security architecture.
The Pentagon says the U.S. is planning for all contingencies, with more troop deployments still a possibility. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
U.S. officials say Russia has shown no clear signs of de-escalation, but the State Department continues to urge Russian President Vladimir Putin to pursue diplomacy.
Still ahead at 5, winter storms are hitting several states across the United States.
How much snow did they get? We'll have details coming up after the break. And later, violence continues to spike in the Beloit community. At 6, we'll explain what law enforcement believes is preventing homicides from getting solved.
And on Wall Street, the Dow adding to a strong week, a 224-point gain. The Nasdaq jumps 71.5. The S&P adds 43, and we'll be right back.
Guys, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction, Peak Performance for Men has a natural solution that can help you today. That's right. Stop wasting money on pills and inferior technology that hurts and just masks your ED. Fix it for good. The best part, our ED treatment is non-invasive, painless, and you can get back to your natural functionability after just a few short in-office sessions. Call us today and mention this ad, and your initial consultation is free. We are Madison's trusted specialist and only national erectile dysfunction provider. Call Peak Performance for Men today.
President's Day is the best time to buy furniture, and Slumberland Furniture is having one of their biggest sales of the year.
Wow. Wow is right.
Deals up to 50% off throughout the store. Find a great accent piece, a warm fireplace, an amazing recliner. Incredible deals throughout the store. See why this is one of the best times of the year to buy furniture. The huge President's Sale at Slumberland Furniture. And for your new mattress, come to Slumberland Sleep Solutions, where we've reinvented mattress shopping.
Dinosaur Adventure roars into Madison. One weekend only. Alliant Energy Center. With life-size dinosaurs and massive family fun. Experience the thrill of the prehistoric age, featuring the ferocious T-Rex, Triceratops, Velociraptor, and more. Go on a realistic fossil dig. Take a ride on your favorite dinosaur. Bounce around in the prehistoric playground and a baby dinosaur meet and greet. Take an amazing dinosaur adventure. This weekend only. Alliant Energy Center. Tickets at dinosauradventure.com.
Some numbers are thrilling, some impressive, some just right. After an accident, there's one critical number. The number that helps you get your life back by factoring in your needs for today and tomorrow. That's where Habish and Rotier's numbers really add up. With over 90 years of client successes and 13 offices to help you wherever you are. No other personal injury law firm is better suited to get the amount that's right for you.
Your senator is working with Donald Trump to take away your right to vote.
That's exactly what Ron Johnson is doing. It's why we must pass the Freedom to Vote Act.
With the Bucks, Alex Lasry took a stand.
Alex Lasry has used his power to expand voting rights.
I'll be a senator about action, not talk. We need to protect voting rights.
What makes him tick is his love and respect for people.
Equity and justice make us stronger. Alex gets it done.
I'm Alex Lasry, and I approve this message.
I'm dealing with 11 years of pain.
Tonight at 6 o'clock, a deep look into Beloit's unsolved homicides and a culture of fear that stops people from telling what they know.
Also, a group of Wisconsin lawmakers push for gun reform rules tonight at 6.
She swam to fight cancer.
With the statistics, it's amazing that I'm still here.
Now 4 new swimmers join her fight. Susan Simon takes you inside a groundbreaking UW study.
It's going to be very promising.
Thursday on News 3 Now at 6. You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Former Miami Dolphins head coach Brian Flores is filing a lawsuit accusing the NFL and 3 other teams of racism. Today, the league has 3 head coaches of color, including 1 African-American head coach. His lawsuit claims the NFL has failed to create a fair hiring process. Flores was fired on January 10th, despite Miami earning its first back-to-back winning seasons in nearly 20 years. Flores believes minorities are not getting a fair shot.
The numbers speak for themselves as far as the hiring, firing, and the lack of opportunities for minority and black head coaches and executives in the National Football League, and we need to change. We need things to change.
So he's suing the NFL along with the Dolphins, Broncos, and New York Giants. The NFL claims diversity is at the core of everything it does and says the lawsuit is without merit. Flores hopes to resume coaching in the NFL. A major winter storm barreling across much of the U.S., bringing with it a dangerous combination of snow, ice, and bitterly cold temperatures.
Right now, blizzard, winter storm, and ice storm warnings stretch from the Rio Grande River south of Texas as far northeastward as northern Maine. Jason Allen has more.
Heavy snow in the Kansas City, Missouri metro area brought traffic to a halt Wednesday morning. Several semi-trucks crashed on Interstate 70, causing huge backups. Plows tried to stay ahead of the snow before dawn in Lansing, Michigan.
Allow for extra time when you're coming up to that stop sign and you're exiting off that ramp or the traffic light, because on a day like today, when you go to hit your brakes, you're going to slide significantly.
Workers cleared the sidewalks in downtown Chicago, while 20 miles away, crews responded to reports of a roof collapse at a tire facility. Roughly 100 million Americans are under winter weather alerts from the Rockies to the northeast. Besides snow, gusting wind and ice could cause major problems.
You see a power line down or trees down, don't go near the power line, obviously. Again, common sense, get it reported.
Temperatures are expected to be below freezing across much of the country, including here in Texas, nearly a year after a catastrophic freeze caused massive power outages.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott says the state is much better prepared than it was for last year's storm.
Texas has about 15% more power generation capacity than we did last year.
The hazardous conditions are expected to stick around through the end of the week. Jason Allen, CBS News in Fort Worth, Texas.
And the storm is also causing major problems for air travelers. Thousands of flights were canceled today.
Crowds gathered in Sun Prairie earlier today to hear from Jimmy the Groundhog whether we'll have an early spring or 6 more weeks of winter.
We will have early spring. Hey, Jimmy, good job, Jimmy. That's always good for us politicians when it's early spring.
Jimmy says we will have that early spring across southern Wisconsin. The Groundhog Day ceremony returned to an in-person event in Sun Prairie this year after last year's event was held virtually. This is the 3rd time in 4 years Jimmy has called for an early start to spring. Now over in Pennsylvania, his cousin Punxsutawney Phil predicted 6 more weeks of winter after he saw his shadow.
Gary's favorite day, Groundhog Day. He's here with a look at your certified most accurate weather.
Are we sure Sun Prairie's mayor heard that correctly? He needs to get his ear a little closer to Jimmy.
Oh, boy, Gary.
Yeah, that was the fiasco. Well, 3 things you need to know from me and not from Jimmy the Groundhog. Very cold weather will continue through Saturday morning, and then we'll see mainly dry weather. Just a couple of flurries perhaps Friday afternoon and maybe from Thursday afternoon into Friday morning of next week, but otherwise dry weather for the next 10 days. And we'll see temperatures back in the 30s by next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. On Doppler track, a couple of flurries at times may have made it into far southern Wisconsin, but there's that major winter storm, which already has brought a heavy round of snow from Illinois and now into Indiana and Michigan, and then you're seeing some freezing rain starting to develop across parts of Kentucky into western Tennessee. The next batch of snow is going to follow right in the same path of the first storm, so you can see it'll head through Missouri, through Illinois, and into Indiana, areas that have already gotten a lot of snow. As far as the snow depth, you can clearly tell where the band of heavy snow has been, but a very sharp cutoff to the northern edge. Much of this snow is already on the ground, so you can see some areas now in parts of central Illinois may have over a foot of snow on the ground, and the snow continues to pile up over parts of northwestern Indiana into southern Michigan. This is additional snow that's in the forecast from that second batch of snow, which is now in Oklahoma. They could see an additional anywhere from 4 to 8 inches of snow on top of what they've already gotten. This band perhaps a little farther south. So again, central and southern Illinois more in line with that. And then the potential for significant freezing rain. Notice this area here, they could see over an inch of freezing rain through parts of western Tennessee into much of northern Kentucky, southern portions of Ohio. For that reason, ice storm warnings have been issued from western Tennessee through much of northern Kentucky into southern Indiana, far southern Illinois. Winter storm warnings remain in effect for that second batch of snow and the first batch, which is still falling across parts of Indiana and Michigan. But notice across our part of the Midwest, no advisories, no warnings or anything here, just the cold. Temperatures right now in the teens, but to the north and west, single digits to below zero temperatures. And compared to 24 hours ago, St. Louis has dropped almost 40 degrees in temperature. They were near 60 yesterday. Now they've got snow and the first batch moving on through with some freezing rain just to their south. The main part of the storm, again, down to our south, the stationary front with another wave of low pressure developing along it. There's that second batch of snow in parts of Oklahoma into southern Kansas. In our part of the Midwest, it's just the very cold temperatures. Single digits, northern parts of the state. Teens here, wind chills already below zero to our north and west. Already in the teens and 20s below zero across much of Minnesota into the Dakotas. Wind chill advisories in effect for northwestern Wisconsin, much of Minnesota and Iowa. And notice wind chill warnings in effect for parts of North Dakota and western Minnesota. For us, just a cold night tonight, low of about 4 with wind chills to 15 below zero. High tomorrow, 13 degrees with partly sunny skies. And you can see in the 7 to 10 day forecast, temperatures remain a little bit below normal as we head into the early part of the weekend. Highs mid-20s for the weekend. And then as we head into early next week, those temperatures in the middle 30s with partly sunny skies Tuesday, a little more cloud cover on Wednesday, and maybe some flurries from Thursday afternoon into Friday morning as temperatures fall off toward the end of next week. As far as first warning traffic is concerned, not seeing any problems on most of the highways in and around Dane County. That's your News 3 Now first warning traffic.
Gary, thank you. Coming up next, the Biden administration hoping to cut cancer deaths in half over the next 25 years. Details on the new initiative when we return.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
At Affordable Dentures and Implants, that moment when we see a patient smile is everything to us. So whether it's a single tooth, full dentures, or dental implants, we're here to help you. Go ahead and smile.
Go ahead and smile. Go ahead and smile. Go ahead and smile.
Psoriasis really messes with you. Try, hope, fail.
No one should suffer like that.
I started Cosentix. 5 years clear.
Real people with psoriasis look and feel better with Cosentix. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentix. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections, some serious, and the lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about an infection or symptoms, or if you've had a vaccine or plan to. Tell your doctor if your Crohn's disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions may occur.
Best move I ever made.
Ask your dermatologist about Cosentix.
Water is one of nature's most beautiful and life-sustaining resources. At no fault of their own, many Wisconsin utility customers are facing a shutoff to their water service. This leaves them without the one life-giving resource we all take for granted. And those hardest hit are on fixed incomes, juggling multiple temporary jobs, or those who lost full-time jobs in sectors hardest hit by the pandemic. If someone you care about needs a hand up, your local Wisconsin energy and emergency rental assistance providers are working together to keep you safely in your home and your water, heat, and power on. If you are in danger of losing your water service, call 833-H2O-WISC, 833-426-9472. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Running a race is a lot like investing. It takes discipline, patience, and time. But most importantly, it takes endurance. Because in order to go the distance, you need to be prepared to get there. At the Burrish Group at UBS, we have a trusted advisor that's ready to go the extra mile with you every step of the way. Call the Burrish Group today.
wondering what's in store with Wisconsin Lottery scratch games. It's Candy Blast, the sweet new $3 game that's chock full of fun. Use your symbols to match and reveal an entire game. Win up to $30,000. Instant scratch games from the Wisconsin Lottery. Odds are you'll like them.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
President Biden announced a new initiative today that aims to cut the number of cancer deaths in half over the next 2 decades.
Deborah Alfarone has the details.
Cancer patients and survivors listened at the White House as President Biden announced his goal to reduce cancer-related deaths by up to 50% in the next 25 years.
Every one of you have a story. And our message today is this: we can do this.
The president is relaunching the Cancer Moonshot, an initiative he started as vice president in 2016. The effort also aims to improve the experience of people living with the disease.
We can end cancer as we know it. This is a presidential White House priority, period.
Part of the plan is to offer new access points to make cancer screening easier, including mobile and home health screenings, with a focus on those most at risk. The Biden administration says more than 9 million people put off cancer screenings during the pandemic. One of them was Patricia Moreno, a fitness leader who died from cervical cancer last month, leaving behind a wife and 3 daughters.
I cry when I'm alone after I dropped into school. It's really terrible. It's a terrible loss.
Moreno's wife, Kellen Morey, acknowledges the White House's initiative comes too late for her, but hopes it will save lives.
Even though you think that, you're healthy and you feel like you couldn't be you, it could be you. So preventative is key.
The Cancer Moonshot will also establish a so-called cancer cabinet with officials from multiple federal agencies, and it calls for partnerships with private health companies and academic institutions. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, the White House.
And today's announcement, of course, also extremely personal for the president and vice president. President Biden's son, Beau, died from brain cancer in 2015. And Vice President Kamala Harris's mother, who was a breast cancer researcher at UW-Madison and other universities, lost her battle with colon cancer.
A final check of your First Warn forecast when we return.
You're watching Madison's fastest growing newscast. News 3 Now at 5.
Menards is the destination for your next flooring project. Enhancing the beauty of your home is easy with our great selection of durable, waterproof, and easy-to-install flooring options. Great Lakes vinyl plank flooring and Tarkett sheet vinyl hold up to everyday life and come in a variety of styles to complement any room in your home. Save big money with Great Lakes and Tarkett vinyl flooring now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Do you want to create your dream home? Then you should attend the Madison Build, Remodel, and Landscape Show, where admission is free. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at the Monona Terrace Convention Center. Make contacts, hire contractors, explore the best in kitchens, baths, and custom remodeling, windows, doors, and room additions. Whatever improvements your home needs, you'll find solutions at the Build, Remodel, and Landscape Show. Free admission this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at the Monona Terrace Convention Center.
Had enough? No, arthritis. Here, Aspirin arthritis. Huh. Full prescription strength. Reduces inflammation. Thank the gods. Don't thank them too soon.
Kick pain in the Aspirin.
My daughter has type 2 diabetes, and lately, I've seen this change in her.
Once-weekly Trulicity is proven to help lower A1C. It lowers blood sugar from the first dose, and you could lose up to 10 pounds. Trulicity is for type 2 diabetes. It isn't for people with type 1 diabetes. It's not approved for use in children. Don't take Trulicity if you're allergic to it. You or your family have medullary thyroid cancer or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2. Stop Trulicity and call your doctor right away if you have an allergic reaction, a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, changes in vision, or diabetic retinopathy. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Taking Trulicity with sulfonylurea or insulin raises low blood sugar risk. Side effects include nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, which can lead to dehydration and may worsen kidney problems. Ask your doctor about once-weekly Trulicity.
Bob's won't rest until everyone gets the furniture they love, in stock and fast. But we're only 2 Bobs. Are we, though? It's time to assemble the Bobs. It's the call of the Bobs.
Well, that's a happy little sound.
Bob, vanilla ice latte.
Bobs. Wow, this is some seashell. Shop what's in stock, in store, or at mybobs.com.
I was a Navy submariner for over 20 years. I spent a large portion of my life underwater. Service is about putting your country before yourself. But Senator Ron Johnson uses his office to serve himself. Ron Johnson passed a special tax break that benefited his family's business, then cashed out of the company for $5 million. Ron Johnson has doubled his wealth since he's been elected. That's not what service is about. Tell Ron Johnson to stop voting for tax laws that benefit himself.
Coming up on this busy news day, a major winter storm bearing down on more than 110 million Americans. Ice, sleet, and snow, as the National Weather Service warns, it could make travel nearly impossible. Plus, we have an exclusive look at the rise of ghost guns, weapons that can be assembled in just 45 minutes. And the story of a young man who went from poverty to MIT, his plan that could shake up Silicon Valley. The CBS Evening News now just minutes away.
Now let's go back to Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. A final check of the forecast. Gary?
For us, we're just dealing with the cold. There's the live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Lots of clouds, but other than a couple of flurries, maybe far south, well south of Madison, nothing really showing up across southern Wisconsin. You can see the first round of snow moving through from Illinois into Indiana and southern Michigan, but that will all stay to the south of us. And other than a slight chance for a flurry south of Madison tonight, not looking at any precipitation. Temperatures, though, are on the cold side. 13 now in Madison, already down to 9 at the Baraboo Dells Airport. Factor in the winds, it feels like 0 in Madison and nearly 10 below 0 with the wind chill in Viroqua. Look for a low temperature tonight of about 4. Wind chills could drop to as low as 15 below 0 by morning. High temperature tomorrow at 13 with more sunshine. Then look at highs in the upper teens Friday with maybe an afternoon flurry. Mid-20s on Saturday. Morning lows, though, right around 0 or a little bit below with wind chills to 15 below 0. But a warm up next week, a few days with temperatures in the 30s.
All right, Gary, and we'll be back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. CBS Evening News is next.